Okay, dear students, today we'll start a new chapter that is combustion and flame. First of all, we must need to know the meaning of combustion. What is combustion? See, my dear students, combustion is a chemical process. Combustion is a chemical process. What happens in this process that any material any material reacts with oxygen any material reacts with oxygen and gives us energy. Along with energy we also get many byproducts. So very important, what is combustion? Combustion is a process in which any material reacts with oxygen to produce energy and products. But the basic thing is that combustion is a chemical process. In this process any material reacts with oxygen to produce energy. Very important. In our day to day life and in simple language we also say combustion in another word, that is burning. We have seen burning of paper, we have seen burning of wood. What happens is that is paper burns, or you can say reacts with oxygen and go through the process of combustion. Very important, and gives us energy. That energy is in the form of heat and light. So this is the combustion of paper. This process is known as combustion. Very important. At our firewood place, wood reacts with oxygen producing energy, then this is known as the combustion of wood. See, my dear students, very important, this material which burns or go through the combustion process to give energy is also called as fuel. Very important. What is a fuel? We will be going to the definition of it, don't worry. It is any material which go through the combustion process and gives us energy, and we utilize that energy. Very important, even our body also needs energy. Our body takes this energy by the combustion of glucose. This process we call as respiration. What happens is that glucose plus oxygen gives us energy, plus carbon dioxide plus water. Here carbon dioxide and water are byproducts. Very important. Here you can see glucose is a material that we get from the food. Okay, reacts with oxygen, combustion takes place, or you can say in simple language burning takes place, and you get energy. So very important, in our body combustion process taking place, and that is respiration. So very important, respiration is combustion. Very important. We utilize this energy to maintain our body temperature and to do many other biochemical processes. Okay, my dear students, whatever materials in our surroundings are there, they are in two categories. They have been divided in two categories. What is that category? Whether that material will burn or not. So according to this, all the substances has been divided into two categories, that is combustible substances and non combustible substances. See, now what is the main difference between them? Any material which can go through combustion or which can do the combustion process, material which can burn, in simple language, material which can burn is known as combustible substances, or any material which can react with oxygen to give energy, that material is known as combustible substances. Example is wood, petrol, paper. All these materials burn, or you can say all these materials undergo the process of combustion if conditions are fulfilled. Very important, those materials are known as non-combustible substances which do not burn, or those material which does not plus oxygen and no reaction takes place or nothing happens, then those materials are known as non-combustible substances. Example is water, sand, rock, etc. So as of now we are surrounded by many materials nearby us. Out of these, few materials are combustible and few materials are non-combustible. So obviously we can take out energy from those materials which are combustible. Okay, my dear students, as we can say wood, paper, these materials are combustible. As of now, if you are studying any book that is made up of paper or page, then why it is not burning? So very important. The question arises that does combustion takes place by itself? Obviously, the answer is no. For combustion, a few set of conditions needs to be completed. So very important. What are conditions for combustion? What are conditions for combustion? There are three conditions for combustion, my dear students. First one is presence of combustible material. Second one is presence of air or oxygen. Third one is ignition temperature. See, my dear students, if these three conditions are at any one place, then our combustion will take place. There is food, wood, air at different places these things are completed? No. If at a single place any material is there that must be combustible, very important, that must be combustible. Let's take example of wood. It must have air nearby it, it must have air in contact with it. If I say air, you must get to know I am talking about oxygen. See, my dear student, if I am using the word air, then you must get that I am talking about oxygen. And it must have the ignition temperature. Very important. What is ignition temperature? See, my dear student, to start the process of burning or to start the process of combustion, each and every material requires a minimum temperature. That minimum temperature or the minimum amount of heat that must be present there, that minimum temperature is known as ignition temperature. So what is ignition temperature? It is the minimum temperature required to start burning of any material. Start the burning of any material. See, my dear student, if temperature is higher than that, no issue. But if temperature is lower than ignition temperature, my burning will not take place. Let's take few examples to understand these concepts. Okay. If fire is there, okay. If I add more and more dry wood pieces or dry that all materials or any combustible material, clothes, paper, then this fire will continue. And if I does not add that material, fire will stop. If again I add this material, fire will start. That means I am giving it the combustible material. Okay. Air or oxygen. Two candles are there. Both of them are burning. Okay. Both of them are getting fuel from the candle wax. This is burning, this is burning. Both of them are continuously burning. But what I did is that I covered it with a glass. After some time, slowly, no burning air. It stopped. Got put off. Why? Because now this wax is no more in contact with oxygen. That combustible material must be in contact with oxygen. Okay. If I put this glass here, then slowly this will stop. The reason is that not all of a sudden it will stop, because it is having oxygen. It is having oxygen. First of all, it will use this oxygen particle. Actually, in combustion, they use the oxygen particles. Then it will use this oxygen particle. Then it will use this oxygen particle. And after some time, there will be no more oxygen. Then fire will stop. So this is the best example you can get, that presence of air or oxygen is must. Ignition temperature. This is my candle. I am waiting. Yes, fuel is here. Air is also present. And why it is not burning? Then I will, by matchstick, I will give a minimum ignition temperature to this candle, and after that it will start burning. You are having paper. It is not burning. Paper is a fuel or combustible material. It is also in the presence of air, but very important, it must be having its ignition temperature. Then by matchstick we heat it up, it gets its ignition temperature and it starts burning. So these are the three must things for combustion. Okay, my dear student, this ignition temperature. Ignition temperature is a very important condition for any material. If any material is in contact with air, very important, my dear students, any material is there, if it is in contact with air or oxygen, and if this material got its ignition temperature, then that material will start burning. So very important. Based on ignition temperature, there are two types of material. Materials having low ignition temperature, and materials having high ignition temperature. Okay. See, my dear students, low ignition temperature means even at low temperature these metals start burning. Very important, these metals are also known as inflammable substances. See, my dear students, low temperature is a very normal condition. Having low temperature or getting low temperature is very normal. Even a small heat rises the temperature, and at low ignition temperature, if that material comes in contact, already it is having air, and if anyhow it got this third condition, that is low ignition temperature, these materials catch fire very easily. And more important, such materials are very tough to be stored. Means these materials are very risky. Why? If this material is anywhere nearby you yourself will not be aware, and even if that material got a bit of heat, and if this condition gets fulfilled, it will start burning. Those materials are known as inflammable substances. Inflammable material storage is a very tough task. Example is petrol, CNG, LPG. Very important. Anywhere where petrol, CNG, LPG is there, you might have seen the boards, no smoking and all. Why? Even a small bit of high temperature or a bit of heat may lead to the burning or combustion of this material. High ignition temperature materials, for high ignition temperature we need to give enough amount of heat, and that is not a normal condition. So see my dear students, in high ignition material temperature their storage is not any issue for us. Neither they are risky. Very important example is wood. Example is wood, best example. Okay, even if wood is nearby you, even if wood is nearby you, you no need to worry. Even if wood is there nearby you, there will be no banner, nothing like that, no smoking or no firework, anything. Why? The reason is that, as we all know, wood is in high ignition temperature and it will not burn that much easily. Okay my dear students, basically now what happens is that you might have seen this ignition temperature concept. Those materials which are having low ignition temperature literally creates a risk and may lead to disasters. They are very much hazardous and leads to disaster. See, in forest during summer times, the temperature is high. So what happens is that already the temperature is high and the grass is dry. Okay, grass is dry. Dry grass have low ignition temperature, wet grass have high ignition temperature. Moreover, if wind blows, these two, when branches move in contact with each other, friction happens, because of which heat is produced, and it may be the leaves of these plants get fire. Moreover, due to high temperature, this dry grass is also a type of, you can take it as inflammable material, because it is having low ignition temperature. So very important, what happens is that they catch fire and leads to the forest fire. The reason is that in the forest there are materials which are having low ignition temperature, or you can say inflammable material, and when the forest fire takes place, it goes for many days and months, and to control it is very much tough. Moreover my dear students, this is ground and this is any coal mine under the ground. When mining of coal is being done, we get solid coal. But while mining, when we hit the surroundings of the mine with solid materials to take out the coal, there is particles of coal in the mine. Those are known as coal dust. That is known as coal dust. Very important, my dear student. Coal dust also have low ignition temperature. Very important. Coal dust also have low ignition temperature, and many times, as it is having low ignition temperature, it gets its ignition temperature, it catches fire and mine explodes, and many property loss is there. Okay my dear students, very important, you must be knowing how to prove that ignition temperature is required. So there is an activity by which you can say that ignition temperature is required, otherwise that burning process will not take place. Let's take sandpaper, okay, and let's turn it like, or mutilate it like any cone, and it's also sandpaper. Okay, this is empty, this is only sandpaper, and it is having water in it. If we heat it up or try to burn it with candle, within few seconds this sandpaper will start burning. Whereas this will not start burning even after a long time. Why? This is giving heat, this fire is giving heat or the temperature, and this sandpaper gets its ignition temperature start burning. This is giving heat to this sandpaper, but this heat is being absorbed by the water. That heat is being absorbed by the water. Because of it, this sandpaper is not able to get its ignition temperature. It is not burning. Very important. Water is a good absorber of heat. You must know this. We will be seeing application of water in this chapter. Don't worry. So, my dear students, as if I want to burn this sandpaper, what I will do is I will use a matchstick. Now the question arises, how does this matchstick originally work? What is the way in which matchstick is burning? Burning, or how it is when we rub it, it burns, otherwise it does not burn. Why? What is a matchstick? Matchstick is a wood, thin wood part having a chemical at one of its end. This is matchstick, and we use matchstick whenever we want to burn anything, or we use matchstick to at least burn itself. How does this function is that we rub matchstick towards a rough surface of the matchbox, This is the rough surface of the matchbox, and that is a matchstick. Basically, this rough surface is having glass, very powderized glass, and it is also having red phosphorus. And what does this one is having? See, my dear student, this is having antimony trisulfide and potassium chloride. What is this having? This is having antimony trisulfide and potassium chloride. See, my dear students, just memorize these two names. Very, very important. Antimony trisulfide and potassium chloride. Very, very important. See, my dear student, white phosphorus is a material. It is having low ignition temperature. Okay. Now, very important, by rubbing or friction, red phosphorus converts into white phosphorus, and that low ignition temperature is very, even a bit down than our normal room temperature. Okay, means if I am keeping, very important, if I am keeping white phosphorus at room, automatically it will start burning. Why? Room temperature is there. Room temperature is even higher than the ignition temperature of the white phosphorus. It means white phosphorus is having very, very low ignition temperature. So when we rub this like this, friction happens, and this red phosphorus converts into white phosphorus. In friction, glass helps to give that rough surface. Okay, white phosphorus burns and gives it to potassium chloride. This burns, and then it burns this chemical, that is antimony trisulfide, and we get the fire. So the thing is that first of all we produced heat by friction, in which red phosphorus got converted into white phosphorus. Then the white phosphorus burnt automatically, okay, to burn potassium chloride, and this burned to give antimony trisulfide enough ignition temperature to burn, and our matchstick started burning, and I got the fire. Now we use this matchstick to burn anything, and we can use this matchstick to give ignition temperature to any other material. So this is the proper way of functioning of Matchstick, very important. See how many chemicals are being used in it. Antimony trisulfide, potassium chlorate, red phosphorus getting converted into white phosphorus, glass particles to make it more rough for a better friction. Okay, my dear students, fire is very useful thing for us. Fire is very useful thing for us, but only at those places where we require it. Very important. Fire, very useful, very useful. For example, at cooking, for getting heat, okay, winters, very useful, but not useful, not useful where not required, where not required. Fire is useful at only that place where it is required. Moreover, this fire must also be controllable. Controllable. For example, I want to burn the incense stick. Okay, one matchstick is enough. But for that, if I am burning a lot of stuff for one incense stick, it doesn't make any sense. Moreover, it must be controllable. That fire must be under my control. Second thing, fire where it is not of use, and if fire is there, then for sure it will be giving a great loss to property and life. There will be a loss to property and life. So very important, as we came to know how to start a fire, we must also know how to control or put off the fire. So now we will see how to control or put off the fire. Control the fire. See, my dear students, there are three conditions for fire. That is combustible material, air, that is oxygen, and the third one is ignition temperature. Okay. If any of these condition is not there, then the fire will stop. Okay. Very important. Putting off the fire. Putting off the fire is called extinguishing the fire. Extinguishing the fire, or fire fighting. Fire fighting. See, my dear students, if something is burning, let's say something is burning, paper is burning. If I take out that unburnt paper from it, the fire will stop. If wood is burning it, and I take out the unburnt wood from it, fire will stop. But in many cases, I cannot take out the combustible material. For example, if you want to stop the fire and you can take out the combustible material, then take it out. Okay. But if any building catches the fire, then what to do? Obviously, I can pick up the building and run away. See, my dear student, very important. If you want to put off the fire, any three of these things you take out. If possible, take out the combustible material. Okay. It means if we are using any chula and I want fire to stop, don't add any more wood, fire will stop. Okay. If I am running the bike, I am using the combustion of petrol, take out the petrol, bike will stop. Why? Because there is no material for the combustion. Automatically, moreover happens. Many times you don't know the idea whether petrol is present in our vehicle or not. We keep on using it. When the petrol ends, our bike stops. Why? Combustion has stopped. So very important, if possible, take out the combustion material. Take out the combustible material. Second, air or oxygen. We can make any way or put any barrier. The fire is there and put any barrier between that fire and the air. If I put any barrier, then no more oxygen will be coming in contact with the fire and fire will stop. So there are many ways by which air or oxygen can be stopped. The first thing is that if many times water is being thrown on the fire, what happens is that when water is being thrown, two things happen. First of all, water absorbs the heat. That means by absorbing the heat, the nearby temperature lowers. Temperature gets lower. As temperature gets lower, it will come down to its ignition temperature and will stop burning. Very important, if you bring the temperature below the ignition temperature, then also fire will stop. So there are first way is that to throw the water. Water absorbs the heat and decreases the temperature. By decreasing the temperature and the temperature comes below the ignition temperature, fire will stop. Moreover, when water is being thrown in it, what happens is that water absorbs the heat and converts into vapor. That vapor makes a layer around the fire which does not allow the oxygen to come in contact with fire, and we stops the fire or fire is gets extinguished. Very important, my dear students. Even carbon dioxide gas is being thrown in it. By carbon dioxide gas, you might have seen the fire extinguisher, those cylinders. What they do is that they throw carbon dioxide gas. Carbon dioxide gas is a heavy gas and it comes and settles down and makes a layer like blanket on the fire and does not allow the oxygen or air to come in contact with the fire and the fire stops. See, my dear students, at many places when forest catches a fire, putting water on the forest is not possible. Stopping air is not possible. But what is being done, that baking soda, that is sodium carbonate and potassium carbonate. These powders are being thrown on by flying jets, thrown on the forest. They spreads, okay. That is powder, it spreads in the air and goes down, and when they come in contact with the heat, they give carbon dioxide and that layer covers that burning forest and the fire stops. So the thing is that either take out the combustible material or make a barrier between the air and the fire. That can be done by water, which also absorbs the heat or lowers the temperature and creates a water vapor layer. You can use carbon dioxide cylinders. Moreover, if any person got fire, you can just wrap that person by blanket or any clothes. By wrapping him or her, what you do is that you have created a barrier between the air and the fire of the burning person, and the fire stops. Okay, my dear students. But the thing is that can we use water everywhere? The answer is no. If any fireplace is there and that fire is because of electric short circuit, that firefighter throwing the water to stop the fire, first of all, as water is a conductor, not pure water, the normal water which we are using is a conductor, and this person will get the current, he or she may die. Moreover, water is a good conductor of current, it will show no effect and the current will spread a lot. Second thing is that if any fire is because of petrol, okay, or kerosene, diesel, then by throwing water on it, there will be no use. Why? Because water will start floating on it. Not water, sorry. Even if you throw water on this, even if you throw water on this material, as it is having low density, see, this is having, as of already it is now having fire. Even if I throw water on it, what will happen is that water will not remain here, water will come down, and this water will come down, and this petrol, diesel and kerosene will come up, and they will be in contact with oxygen only. They are floating, so they will be in contact with oxygen and there will be no use. Yes, In such cases, what you can do is that first of all cut the electric connectivity. Moreover, in such cases, you can throw the sand. At petrol pumps, you might have seen there are sand buckets. You can throw sand or soil in it. This sand or soil will make a layer between that diesel, petrol, or kerosene and will not come in the contact with oxygen. So very important, these are the ways by which you can put off the fire, or in simple language, these helps in the fire extinguishing. Okay, my dear students, we can extinguish the fire many things. All these things are the result of combustion. Now originally we have seen combustion at few places there is good combustion as in LPG, and at few places the combustion rate is very slow. So basically based on the rate of combustion there are three types of combustion. There are three types of combustion. First one is rapid combustion. Second one is spontaneous combustion. And third one is explosive combustion. All these categories, now see. If there is any material, it starts burning or undergoes the combustion process in less time. If it is giving good energy or heat, then such a combustion is known as rapid combustion. The example is LPG. LPG gas burns in less time, gives good enough amount, I am using the word good enough, not a lot of energy, good enough amount of energy. Such a combustion is known as rapid combustion. Whereas what is explosive combustion? Any material in very less time, very short period of time, giving large amount of energy, such a combustion is known as explosive combustion. For example, any material, okay, and if it goes through combustion, so what is that? In very short span of time, if it produces large energy, then it is known as explosive combustion. Very important examples are the firecrackers. They do the combustion process in a very short span of time, and the energy produced by them is very large. Explosive combustions can be very dangerous. Example is dynamite. Okay, these all are explosive combustion. Very important, my dear students. When this happens is that when the energy is released, this energy in the form of heat, all of a sudden it is released. So the air particles near it due to heat, or the gas particles near it due to heat, all of a sudden expands a lot. All of a sudden, when this gas, here it is this combustion taking place, here this combustion is taking place, heat is produced all of a sudden, and these all gas particles all of a sudden get a lot of it by heat. What happens is the expansion of air, and this gas expands all of a suddenly a lot, producing a lot of huge sound. Very important, very high sound is produced in explosive combustion, whereas in rapid combustion no sound is produced. What is spontaneous combustion? Spontaneous means by self. Simultaneously, spontaneous means by self. In spontaneous combustion, many materials when kept normal, what we do for combustion is that we take the matchstick and give it the heat for the ignition till it starts burning. But many material kept idle, even when many materials kept idle starts burning by self, such materials are known as are known to be doing spontaneous combustion. Why? Because the ignition temperature is produced by that material itself. Either that material is having very low ignition temperature, or that material produces ignition itself or oxidizes itself. Means gets reacts with oxygen by itself or oxidizes itself and go through the combustion. Example is white phosphorus. Example is white phosphorus, which is also used in the matchstick. If white phosphorus is kept at room, it will automatically start burning. It will catch fire and start burning. So my dear students, those material which are going through spontaneous combustion are very hazardous. Very important. Dry grass in forest many times undergo spontaneous combustion producing forest fire. Coal dust in coal mines many times go spontaneous combustion producing explosions or blast, means spreading fire in the coal mines. Okay, so these were the types of combustion. See my dear students, combustion, it is a chemical process and we are making this process happen daily. But why? Because we want energy, we want to exploit energy. So very important, we are burning materials, we are burning material or making its combustion to happen so as to get energy. What is combustion? Any material burning with oxygen giving us energy. So very important, what are fuels? Fuels are the material, fuels are substances which we, that is humans, burn to get energy, and we use that energy for our personal uses. For example LPG that reacts with oxygen producing energy. We use this energy for cooking. Petrol plus oxygen, we do the combustion of this and we use this energy for our running of the vehicles. So very important, these all are fuels, means we are burning this material or we are making combustion of these materials happen so as to get energy and then exploit or use that energy. See my dear students, basically fuels are of three types. You can get it in the form of solid, liquid and gas. You will get the fill in all the form: solid, wood, liquid, petrol, gaseous, LPG. See my dear student, what I observed is that I burnt one fuel 1, and I got any energy. I burnt different fuel and I got more energy. I burnt third fuel, I got very less energy. So very important, what I observed is that different fuels burn to give different amount of energy. Very important, different fuels burn to give different amount of energy. Very important, fuel giving more energy is known as efficient fuel. See, this is giving the least amount of energy, so this fuel is less efficient. This is giving more energy, this is more efficient. Basically, efficiency means the amount of energy. More is the amount of energy, more is the efficiency. Less is the amount of energy, less is the efficiency. So basically, what I did that to know the efficiency, I measured this energy and then I told efficient in the terms of calorific 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 value. What is calorific value? Calorific value tells us about the efficiency of any fuel. So let's see what is efficiency. See my dear students, let's take whenever I burn 1 kg of any material, very important, whenever I burn 1 kg of any material and I get energy, so the amount, very important, amount of energy produced in burning 1 kg of material is known as the calorific value of that material. Very important. What is calorific value? Amount of energy produced, in burning 1 kg of fuel is known as calorific value, See my dear students, calorific value is given in the terms of kilojoule per kg, means energy produced per kg, and the kg is the unit of mass and energy, the unit is joule, but we are giving in kilojoule. So different fuels give different amount of energy. For example, wood, kerosene. On burning of 1 kg of kerosene, we get 45,000 joules of energy. So this is the calorific value. 45 joules per kg is the calorific value. On wood, we might be getting about 500 joules, or you can take 1000 joules. So very important, wood when burnt 1 kg gives 1000 joule, whereas kerosene when burnt gives 45,000 joule. So very important, kerosene is more efficient because it is having more calorific value, whereas wood is less efficient because it is having less calorific value. So very important, different fuels give different amount of energy. Okay my dear students, so then what is a good fuel? Some fuels are giving good energy, whereas some fuels are giving less energy. So we must always use a fuel which is giving more energy. So let's see what is a good or ideal fuel. We will see characteristics of a fuel which are most desired, which any person using the fuel wants to have these characteristics in that fuel. So first of all, that material must have high calorific value. High calorific value, that is, even a small fuel gives me a lot of energy. Second thing, that fuel, very important, must burn at moderate rate. Very important, that must burn at moderate rate, means its burning must neither be very fast nor be very slow. Okay, why? If it will be very fast, it will be explosive type, it will explode, and if it will be very slow, I will not be able to utilize that energy. So it means at normal rate it must burn, not within a second, or it must also be not like that it is taking years and years to burn. So this must also be taken very much in care. See my dear students, we must also take in care that that thing is having a normal ignition temperature, or that must have a proper ignition temperature. Proper ignition temperature means your fuel must burn easily. In burning, if it will be having, it must neither have high ignition temperature, neither have low ignition temperature. If it will be having low ignition temperature, you will be having risk that that material can catch fire anytime. And if it will be having high ignition temperature, then it would be very tough for you to even burn that substance. Okay, So many things needs to be kept in mind. Okay. Moreover, after using that material, we must not get any residue, or in simple language, it must not produce any smoke, ash, or anything else. It must not produce anything poisonous, because this will be even an issue for you. If you are using a fuel and if it not producing anything useless, then it's good for you. If it will produce smoke, then your eyes will get itchiness, you will not be able to smell properly. So these things needs to be kept in mind while choosing any fuel, or while telling that yes, this fuel is good. Very important. Whatever things may be, that fuel must be cheap. As we all know, petrols are now very very costly. It is more than 100 rupees per liter in many states of India. So it is very costly. So it is not now a feasible fuel. Okay. It must be easily available. For example, as if I am lost in forest, I will have no tension. Why? I am having a fuel wood that is very easily available each and every place. For example, if I am going on highway and all of a sudden I came to know yes, my petrol is about to end or it is about to finish, then I will have tension that if there is any petrol pump or not. Then if any petrol pump is there easily available, then I will no issue. But if I came to know one petrol pump is 30 kilometers behind and one is 50 kilometers ahead, it will be a tension for me. Why? I am not having my petrol available to me. It must be cheap, easily available, easy to store, or neither it must consume too much space. As you might have seen in villages, in the front of houses, in a large area, woods are being kept. But in our house, very easily we can keep the LPG cylinder. So very important. An ideal fuel is a fuel which have good calorific value, moderate rate of burning, proper ignition temperature. It must not produce any residue. It must be cheap, easily available, and easy to store. And my dear student, there is no good fuel or no ideal fuel. If you want to expect a single tree to have apple, mango, pineapple, bananas, this is not possible. Basically, we are using fuel, very important, we are using fuel for a specific work or for a specific requirement. For a specific requirement means any of one of these requirement can be fulfilled by a fuel. A single fuel will never have all of these properties. All of these properties are not in a single fuel. ये आपको sorry no हिंदी, you will not be getting these properties in a single fuel. Okay. The fuel we are using is for a specific work or requirement. If I am not from a wealthy family, or I am not having money, I will use a fuel which is cheap. I will use the wood. Okay. But if I have money or government has given me subsidy, I will use the LPG. LPG is useful. It will also not produce any residue. So see these things. If I want to, very important, if I want to, okay, see something easily available. LPG is not easily available at each and every place. We need to go to the agency, whereas wood is easily available. So in that case, I can go for the wood. So very important, all these properties are not in a single fuel. Okay, my dear students. Now very important, what is a flame? What is a flame? Very important, my dear students. When any fuel burns, very important, when any fuel burns, it gives us energy. Or you can say that energy can be in the form of heat and light. Very important, my dear students. Fuels are in form of solid, liquid and gas. Very important. Now we need to understand the flame. See, my dear student, if gases are burning, gases will be in gaseous form only. But very important, if I am burning any liquid fuel. It may be while burning it converts into gas, but not surety. If I am burning any solid fuel, it may convert into gaseous form, but not surety. But any fuel burning in gaseous form, any fuel burning in gaseous form, or any fuel while burning, if it is in the vapor form, very important, if it is in the vapor form, it will produce burning flame. Very important. What is a flame? Whenever any fuel burns and if it is burning in the vapor form, very important, while burning, if that fuel is in the vapor form, it will produce a flame. It will produce a flame. Very important. Flame is the region. What is flame? Flame is the region, the area or the space where this vapor form of fuel is burning. Very important. What is a flame? Region where vapor form of fuel is burning. Where vapor form of fuel is burning. See my dear students, basically fuels are of three types. Sorry, not three types. Fuels are of two types, but the flame within itself produces three places or three regions. Don't worry. First of all, see, there are two types of flame. Very important. There are two types of flame. One is yellow colored flame and one is blue colored flame. Don't worry. But if any flame is there, let's say this is flame. But when any flame is burning, we will be having three regions. Very important, my dear students. Three regions. Okay. But first of all, we need to understand the two types of the flame. One is yellow flame and one is blue colored flame. Why? See my dear students, if these are the vapor particles, okay, and each and every vapor particle require one oxygen for burning. So if there is sufficient oxygen, okay, then these particles will burn, producing blue flame, and as each and every particle will burn, it will produce large amount of heat. But my dear students, if there is insufficient oxygen is there but insufficient. If there are fuel particles, let's say these are fuel particles, okay, and if these are burning and there is oxygen but not enough, okay, so few particles burnt and consumed the oxygen. So heat will be produced. But as all the particles did not burn, the heat produced will be less. Now this heat produced or the light will fall on these unburnt carbon particles. Very important. This heat produced or the light will fall on these unburnt carbon particles, and these will glow a lot. These will glow white, very much white, or they will, another in word we can say, shine, and this flame will look yellow. So very important. There are two types of flame. If the fuel is getting enough oxygen, it will give blue flame, that is large heat and less light. Whereas in this place there is insufficient burning of oxygen. There is insufficient oxygen and we are getting more vaporized fuel and the oxygen is less. So there will be heat produced but less and light produced will be more. So very important, light produced will be more. In yellow flame, heat produced is less and light produced is more, and in blue flame, heat produced is large and light produced is less. See my dear student, there are three regions in a flame. Now we will see by taking the example of a candle. When any candle burns, the wax gets converted into vaporized form and it gives a flame. Very important my dear students, those materials which does not burn in its gaseous form or vapor form, that does not produce flame. Example is coal. Coal burns in the solid form, so it only gives that glow, red hot colored glow, but not the flame. See my dear students, if candle is burning, it is having three regions. These are the three regions of the flame or the structure of the flame of a candle. This is the structure of flame of candle. See my dear students, outside this flame there is air, or you can say enough oxygen. Let me represent oxygen by O. There is enough oxygen, or the outermost vapor, see, if this is the flame, here air is there, but inside there air is not enough. Here enough oxygen is there, okay, it is in contact with the direct contact with the air. So see, here there are wax particles, okay, in vaporized form. So these wax particles consumes these oxygen, and they are getting sufficient oxygen. So this outermost region will be blue. This is the outermost region, that is blue. Now the oxygen comes inside. It is also being consumed continuously by the blue region, but then also, however, it escapes and comes to this place. See, the amount of oxygen present here is now not present here. Why? It would have came here, but it was consumed. Now see, here also there are wax particles. They consume the oxygen, few particles consume the oxygen, but many of them are not getting the oxygen. So here in the second region, the middle region, there is incomplete combustion of carbon particles. So see my dear students, very important, the incomplete combustion, or you can say the less oxygen. What does less oxygen produces? Yellow color, because those other particles burnt, they produced heat, but many of that heat and light fall on these particles, and these particles started shining, producing glow. That's why the middle region is yellow in color. It is less hot. This outermost region is very hot and blue in color and producing less light. The middle part, it is less hot, yellow in color and producing a lot of light. See my dear student, you might have observed, if light goes, you will never put on the LPG gas. Why? It is producing blue light. It only produces heat, no light. But if you just burn a candle, it will produce a lot of light in the room. The reason is the yellow part. And in any candle, most of the region, you can say at least 60% of the region is of yellow. Okay, blue region is less, this yellow part is more. Now this centermost part, this is dark. Why? Because no oxygen from here. Here it is used, oxygen is used. Here it is also used. Oxygen is not able to reach at this place, and this is having only the vapors. This is having only the vapors of the wax. It is not getting burnt. So these are the three regions: the dark region, the yellow region, and the blue region. and this part, as it is not burning, it is also the coolest part. See my dear student, you can do an activity to get to know whether these it is having any unburnt particles or not. Just take a pipe, straw type pipe, and bring it in this region and put a fire here. These vapors will come and will start burning here. So this tells us that here there are unburnt particles of the fuel in vaporized form. If you put the straw in this region, these will come here and these will get oxygen here and will start burning. Moreover, here are the unburnt carbon particles. If you put any glass or iron plate here, that plate will become black in color. Why? These unburnt particles will come and settle here. As these are carbon particles, they will produce a black spot here. Moreover, as if you want to know this blue region is the hottest or not, just put one small wire in all these three regions. You will get to see this region part wire becomes red hot very much early, telling us that this is the hottest part. Okay, my dear student, see, basically we have to use the fuel because human life in such a way that without fuel, as of now, our lifestyle cannot be even assumed, our lifestyle cannot be even thought of. So very important, no issue, materials which we call fuels, they react with oxygen, and give us energy. But very important, along with that they also give us any other byproducts. Very important, see my dear students, all the fuels, for example, carbon when reacts with oxygen gives carbon dioxide plus energy. This is the byproduct. Okay. LPG gas burns producing water, carbon dioxide and energy. These are the byproducts. Petrol burns producing sulfur dioxide and energy. All the fuels burns giving us energy plus any product. Very important, my dear student, all these products are harmful for the nature. Very important, all the fuels burn producing harmful gases, or you can say harmful products. See my dear students, these harmful products or gases produce pollution in the environment, or in the another sense you can say burning of fuel produces pollution. See, now we are at such a stage that burning of fuels will be there. So what effects they are doing on our environment? Let us see first. Fuels will have to be burned. We have no other option. First of all, many fuels are burning produce carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide do global warming. That is very hazardous for the nature. It may produce the melting of the ice and producing flood. Very important, fuels, especially the carbon fuels, when burnt in less amount of oxygen, produces carbon monoxide. This carbon monoxide is very poisonous. If we breathe in this carbon monoxide, we may become unconscious and may even die. See my dear students, whenever we are sleeping at any place, we must not close all the doors and the windows. Why? The reason is that at many places we are burning any coil, that is mosquito repellent or anything else. If the burning is taking in the room and room is closed, then due to the less oxygen the fuel will burn producing carbon monoxide, and if someone is sleeping inside it, that person will exhale a lot of carbon monoxide. This may lead to the unconsciousness or may even lead to the death of that person. Now very important, during burning of fuel, sulfur dioxide is produced, nitric oxide is produced, and carbon dioxide is produced. Very important, when raining takes place, these all gases mixes with water producing acid rain, sulfur mixes with water producing sulfur dioxide, sorry, not sulfur dioxide, sulfuric acid, sulfuric acid. Nitric oxide produces, is not nitric oxide, it is nitrogen oxide. Nitrogen oxide produces nitric oxide, nitric acid, and carbon dioxide produces carbonic acid. So these gases, poisonous gases which has been produced by the burning of fuel, not only creates respiratory problems, but when they mixes with the water of the rain, they produce these acid, and there is acid rain. Acid rain is very harmful. When it falls on monuments, they get corroded. When it falls on skin, our skin may get cancer and many other things. When they fall on the plants, plant leaves gets burnt. When they go into the water, they make the water of the any reservoir acidic, which is very much harmful for the aquatic life. So directly and indirectly, the thing is that anyhow, if we are producing or using fuel, we are producing harmful things which are very much hazardous. So the thing is that we can't stop the use of fuels. We can't stop the use of fuels. Very important. Use of fuels cannot be stopped. But yes, it can be avoided. By avoided, I mean to say, use only how much required, or use smartly, or go for a good alternative. Good alternative means find out a much good fuel which produces less poisonous things. Smartly means no need to use all the time petrol and diesel vehicles. You can use bicycle and all. Okay, try to avoid using your personal vehicles. You can use public vehicles. And good alternative means, let's take an example, the case of CNG. See my dear friends, many vehicles are using petrol and diesel. Okay, petrol and diesel produces very harmful gases. Moreover, they are very much costly also. But if we use CNG in our vehicles, so very important, harmful gases very less harmful gases. So obviously we have helped in not polluting the environment. Moreover, it is also very cheap as compared to petrol and diesel. So nowadays many governments and at many places you might have seen people using CNG. Second is the example of case of wood. Wood is the most cheap fuel you can get. See, wood very much cheap, but very important. It produces ash on burning. Ash, when ash particles get separated in the air, it may cause asthma. Wood produces smoke. Wood leads to deforestation. For wood, trees are being cut. Wood leads to deforestation, and you also know deforestation have very harmful hazard effects. So very important, instead of wood, nowadays at each and every place LPG is being used. Why? First of all, storing LPG does not consume that much space. Secondly, LPG is not that much costly, and for poor families government has done it free or subsidies being given. Moreover, one cylinder goes for many days. Neither it produces ash, neither it produces smoke, neither it leads to deforestation. So see my dear friends, using fuel is now a must in our life, but we must use these fuels very smartly. So okay dear students, our chapter is over.